Hey y'all, welcome to Spiritual Hour. We are on week 6. We made it to 6 weeks straight. Thank y'all for submitting y'all's questions. Thank y'all for keeping your questions a paragraph brief and interesting. I love what I do. I love helping people. I love helping people process and navigate this thing called the human experience. So thank you for participating, whether it's watching, whether it's sharing, whether it's commenting, powering space. And we are leaving the negativity. We are leaving the imposter syndrome. We are leaving the narc abuse. We are leaving everything that stops us, that imposes us, that prevents us from rising to our highest purpose, our highest potential. So, ashe, ashe, we are welcoming in and we are releasing. We're welcoming in and we are releasing. We are welcoming in and we are also releasing, because everything is everything. Everything is infinite. And you can have a beginning and ending at the same time. It is called infinite timing. Per usual, let me light up my candle. Ooh, I really jumped. Okay, the candle's lit, because y'all know how I do and how I like it. Gotta have the candles lit and everything. Per usual, we are using the Wild Unknown Tarot deck. That is my fave. I've been using it for about 3 to 4 months now, and I absolutely adore it. It is watercolor, it's nature, it's serene, it has animals, and I've been using it and I have nothing but great results. I have nothing but great results. Like, what else can you wish for? And when I say good results, it's not all positivity, it's not all love and light, it's just answers. It just is. The facts are just what is. The truth is just what it is. So I like the fact that it's clear, it's digestible, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful deck, and it has not been wrong yet. So let me pop open the iPad. Hopefully this braid out stays a braid out and doesn't turn into a fro, because the humidity is wild. So we are starting with 1J, depression advice. Hey Black woman, hey, my name is Jay. I'm reaching out to you because I am unemployed and depressed. COVID has severely impacted my mental health. Certain days I spend the entire day in bed. I've lost 20 pounds since the shutdown and I feel hopeless. Can you ask the divine what I can do to cope? Okay. Ooh, it's understandable. Mental illness is a real thing. I am an advocate for mental health awareness. I do not shame anybody for seeking help, for seeking therapy. I truly believe everybody should go to therapy at least once in their life. Not necessarily for just a session. It could just be for multiple sessions in a period of their lives, but everybody should go to therapy. Especially if you're feeling these things such as depression, which is hard to manage, especially, with COVID and everything going on. I can understand why you've gained some pounds and you're feeling depressed. We've had, I'm not going to include that. Ooh, actually, I am. We had the strength card that came out. It's in reverse. Yes, but I understand everything going on, why you would be in a funk, a severe funk like depression, and gaining weight and just not in your best shape. But let's ask the cards why. Cards, please reveal to us, what can 1J do to help her depression? How can she cope? How can she uplift herself out of this conundrum that she's in. I know that there are mental health services during COVID. How can one J reach those services? Go to therapy, maybe do therapy where it's over the phone or over Zoom or something else. But how can one J get the help that she needs? We have the Chariot in reverse. Shuffle some more. How can we best serve Jay? And mental health, again, should not be something that should be stigmatized or looked as bad or defective. You have no idea how many people are suffering in silence. You have no idea how many people have mental illness, and you just don't know. So don't just judge a book by its cover, as well as if you think that you might be having an episode or a crisis, please reach out to those who can help you, because it's important. Mental health is important, physical health is important, everything is important, especially during these trying times. So definitely do not neglect your health. Don't think it's not important, because there's so many more other issues going on and all around us. You matter. Your issues matter. So let's see, what is the final card from Spirit? Okay. We have the Daughter of Wands in reverse, or the Daughter of Swords. So what I have gathered, because all your cards are in reverse, so that's very telling. What I have gathered is that I feel like you have a lot of heart, you have a lot of care, you have a lot of concern. Like, you're a strong person, you're probably the strong friend, or you're the person that people know that is a stable force or gives great advice or whatever. But it's in reverse, because it's like all that you've been given to others, you could use it at this time, with your depression, with, things that are paying out the way that it is, with you losing your job. It seems as if like you don't have that support system to bounce back off of, or have that support have your back. And that's why you're feeling isolated, and that isolation is manifesting to a degree of depression. That doesn't necessarily mean that anybody who's in isolation will become depressed, but the more you sit in a dark and negative space, the more likely it is to develop into something more serious. I also see the Chariot is in reverse, signaling like it's stagnation, like things are not coordinating and aligning the way that it should. When you see the Chariot, it has all the symbols. It has the star, it has the moon, it has the sun, and they're all interconnected within this card. However, in regards to you, it's in reverse. So there is a misalignment. This is a stagnation. There's something that's not been answered or been solved. So I think that's in regards to how you're feeling about COVID, how it's been repressing you, how you haven't just been grown as a person and being in that dark and negative space of depression. And I'm not saying that in the sense of you're pushing this or you're making this an issue or you can control depression. I'm just speaking in a sense of like it is a dark and it is a very negative place. That's just what depression is. And then you have the Daughter of Swords. I see that this card might just be over criticism of yourself, over criticism of society. It may just be a place of like you're being cold, you're being standoffish, you're not, contacting other people, you're not practicing self-care, or you're looking at negative stories, how many deaths, what people are doing, the hysteria, and you're getting caught up in that negative space on top of, the already mental health issues of depression. So if I were you, I would definitely reach out to resources around, and resources that you can find in your local neighborhood. You could always go on Google. You can always go to your local community center to give you resources, but definitely seek out resources. That's what I'm getting from the cards, essentially. We have 2R, divesting from BC, which is Black community. Hi, Black Woman Vibes. I am 17 years old. I've been watching a lot of swirling and divestment videos online and found your channel. I want to know what the spirit has to say about divesting from the BC, the Black community. So, I personally think, because I'm going to interject my opinion like I do, I personally think the divine has, it's kind of like when you get into these spaces of divestment, you realize that Blackistan is a dead end and you have to make a change, and that change is divesting. I feel like the divine is at the same place when it comes to the Black community. There is no change, there is no model, there is no nothing that's going to progress from here on. So the divine, just like your body and everything else in nature, wants to continue, wants to grow, wants to keep the legacy entering into the future. And I think the divine has been able to drop gems and open certain dimensions and ability to see things for what they are, and has helped Black women who are in these divestment spaces and who are truly divested and truly ready to divest, opening our eyes to understand how the metaphysical works, as well as how our relationship with Black men and how the contemptuous results have been, and like the outcome for Black women. It's like the divine is like, look, if you do not divest, this is the outcome, because we have statistics and anecdotal experience to back it up. But if you choose to not take the advice and you choose to stay 10 toes deep in Blackistan, that is your decision, but know what you're getting into. So I think the divine is waking up the daughters who listen, and she's okay with it because her investment is in Black women, in womanhood, and being able to see her daughters into the future, even if that means only a portion of them do see it into the future. But let's ask the cards. Cards, spirits, divine goddess, please reveal to our, what is your sentiments, your thoughts, your direction in regards to swirling, divesting. We have the 6 of Wands. Okay, 2 more cards, Spirit. 2 more. We have the Sun. Okay. 1 more card, Spirit. As you can tell, it's all good vibes. All good vibes. 4 of Pentacles. Okay. So, from what I see is that, and it's all upright too, I see that the divine, like basically what I said is what the divine is saying in regards to rising like a phoenix from the ashes. When you have the 6 of Wands in regards to this deck, the Wild Unknown Tarot, you see that there's a butterfly rising from sticks, wands, essentially, and saying like you have another shelf life, so to speak. Like you get to rise from the ashes, you get to revamp yourself. That's what divestment is. When you leave Blackistan, you come into divestment. You become a better version of yourself. You leave the trauma, you leave the negativity, you leave the loser mentality, you lose all of that, you leave all of that behind and more, and you become a whole brand new spanking woman. With the Sun card, I see it as the divine herself saying, I'm embracing you in this energy. I'm giving you the power, the solar power to activate the information, to get in touch with your divine femininity, get in touch with your dark wisdom, do that shadow side work, do that Carl Jung shadow side, and uproot your unconscious and your subconscious and your conscious experience with BlackWoman and the tropes that keep you stagnant. So she's just inviting you into that energy. And then with the Four of Pentacles, I see that there is solitude, there is connection, there is strength and stability. But the Four of Pentacles also warns to not get warped into materialism and being warped into like things that don't really matter at the end of the day. They are not principles like family and love and honor and dignity, things of those nature. With the Four of Pentacles, it's speaking of kind of like, because I'm hearing it in my head right now, TLC's don't go chasing waterfalls, listen to the rivers and the lakes that you used to. This is speaking of don't get caught up in like, oh, now I'm divested, now I get to be the dictator and look down on other Black women, or now that I'm divested, I am the end all be all, I am the critique, I am the master, or even better yet, because I'm seeing this, and this might be a conversation that I have later on my YouTube channel about the critiques of toxic divestment, bullying Black women, telling Black women they're not good enough, or they need to be this way to be able to divest out of BlackWoman, or even praising bottom shelf brads and brads who are just brads like that. There's nothing spectacular to them other than that they're white, and you're praising them just because they're white. And they do have negative characteristic traits because men are predatory, as well as people are people. You can find good people, you can find bad people, you can find people who are malicious, you can find people who are angelic. Like, people are just people. And to praise a set of people just because they happen to fit your gaze speaks to your unhealthy attachment styles with men, which you have not unrooted from BlackWoman, as well as it speaks to your phallus obsession, the dick hungry, dick chasing, dick thirsty, which leads to you actually getting with a lower tier Brad who is abusive, who has BlackWoman nigger traits, whether he is the Chet Hanks of his community, aka Wigger, or whatever the case may be. A white man who has not only the skin or the proverbial bag, but a decent white man, he's not going to be in these conversations about divestment and swirling this and the third because A, he doesn't know these things exist, and B, he's too busy being a patriarch to even care. So it's speaking of don't get got, don't get caught, don't believe the hype. Stay focused, and that focus is being the best version of yourself, not chasing a peen or a trope or a cult or whatever. As well as, it's interesting because the bottom of the deck, we have the moon card in reverse, which is actually good. It's speaking of like basically seeing things for what they are. It's usually, if it comes up right, it's speaking of like dishonesty, even cheating, but in reverse it's like everything is everything. So it's actually a good sign. So the divine is like, keep the moon card in regards to this example in reverse, meaning that you're not lying to yourself, that you don't still have that shadow side stuff that you have not dealt with, that you're not taking your unhealthy attachment styles over to divestment or swirling or whatever you categorize yourself. It's about making sure that you are healthy, that you are ready, that you are healed enough to come into the world and participate as a new and improved version of yourself versus escaping one shitty situation just to go to another shitty situation. So that's what the divine got for that ass. 3M. End of the year predictions. Hello, Black Woman Vibes. I don't have a personal question that I want to submit to Spiritual Hour. However, I want to know what will the rest of 2020 look like, because what you said on Black Woman Vibes podcast about 2020 being the year of revealing and the system of things coming down and another system being built up isn't psychic powers. I don't know what is. It's more of understanding numbers and symbology than it is, at least my prediction in the beginning of the year on that podcast episode. Than it is psychic ability, but I appreciate that. I've heard people refer to my gifts, my skills, my je ne sais quoi as psychic, but it's not psychic. I have a degree in psychology. I can read people very well. I'm very analytical and I draw the conclusion, but I'm not a psychic. But I appreciate y'all's commentary and comparing it to that, because what you're saying is that I'm very thorough, and I appreciate it because I do put work into my craft. We went from twerking at the club to weekend Zoom hangouts. LOL. We sure did. We sure was like, we feeling a turn up. We feeling and then we was like, we feeling to hit that internet connection. Hopefully my Wi-Fi don't come out. And we feeling to drink wine on Zoom and video chat. And it's just like, I understand people getting tired of it, but it's like, what else? What else we gonna do? But there's no cure to this. We don't know where it came from. We don't know what it actually does. It looks different in everybody's bodies. Like, what? We have no other choice. So I understand the Zoom hangouts and whatnot. Don't invite me to no Zoom hangout. I ain't not interested, sweetie. I'm just not interested. But I understand. Let me actually pull up that podcast episode real quick so I can put in my shameless plugs. It was season 2, episode 11, 2020, what it means for you and your future goals. That's the podcast episode. But let me answer your question. What does the rest of 2020 got for that ass? I certainly at the time was having dreams about like burning tower, especially if y'all know tarot, you've seen that card before. I had dreams of like just a new system, a new way of thinking, a new way of existing. And they weren't as scary as opposed to like futuristic. I'll say futuristic for sure. But what does the rest of 2020 have? What's going to be revealed? We already know about Jada. We know about Epstein and apparently Wayfair. Child, what else does 2020 got for us? Our edges can't take no more, Divine. Please let us know. So we have the Three of Wands, which is interesting. It's like a portal. At least that's the way I see the Three of Wands. Three of Wands. We also have the Five of Wands in reverse. A lot of fire energy. Okay. One more card. Spirit. My question is, how would you like 2020 to end? Because I feel like every year we're always like, oh, this year wasn't great, this and that, and the third happened. Or we talk about like, oh, there wasn't enough time, it just went by so fast. But I feel like 2020 takes the cake where we just like, we tired, we through. I don't think there's ever been a year, at least since I've been alive, where people are just so through with the year, which is like, we need to let it go now. Like, we got to get over it now. We got to go now. Like, people are looking for a fast forward button. I don't think that has ever happened. At least, I don't remember that ever happening prior to this era that we're currently facing. Okay, we have the Ten of Cups. So, okay. I see that in regards to this card, or this question, I see that there is a lot of energy. With the Three of Wands, I like to think of it as a portal, as accessing into not necessarily the future, but your subconscious. And I'm seeing that a lot of people have to sit and self-evaluate. A lot of people have to navigate and rearrange a different way of existing, a different way of navigating the landscape. I see a lot of people are working on themselves, gaining skills, venturing off, expanding their horizons. I see that there's a lot of energy and it's being not necessarily focused in a direction, but it seems that people are being more intentional now, that people are being more meaningful now, as well as people are just figuring out like what are the things that really matter. Like, we don't really care about what the celebrities are doing and what the celebrities are saying when you still have not paid your mortgage and you don't know when the next time you're gonna see a paycheck. Like, now it's like we're leaving all that extra bullish that don't matter, the TV, the reality show, the Hollywood stuff, and we're focusing on the things that actually matter. And I see that with the Ten of Cups, I see this card more so as humanity than I see with emotions. At the end of 2020, when this wave, second wave, but it's really the first, that's just going to continue on. Hence why we're seeing spikes in the summertime, but supposedly the sunshine was supposed to kill the virus, but it's spiking and it's July in places like Florida and Texas and Georgia. But with the Ten of Cups, I see that more so as humanity. When the summer months start to, roll over and we get into fall and it starts to become cool again and really cloudy and grayish, I see more of humanity stepping up, where it's like, all right, we know what was going down for the first time it came. Like, we didn't know what to prepare for. We didn't know what was coming. Like, everything was basically off hip. We made a lot of mistakes. We made a lot of late calls, but now we're prepared, whether it's people making masks for free, whether it's people checking up on other people and asking them, do they need meals? Do they need social services? I feel like a lot of people are going to show their humanity and their help for essential workers, the doctors, the nurses. They're going to be a lot more understanding and compassionate versus before, where it's like, I don't believe it, it's a myth, it's a hoax, I don't know. Now it's going to be more so like, we're in this together whether we like it or not. So that's what I see 2020 looking like. The end of 2020. Hopefully my face don't look greasy. We have 4A, Ghislaine Maxwell. Hey, Black Woman Vibes. I don't know if you saw in the news, but Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, was caught in New Hampshire. Girl, can you ask the cards if Ghislaine will commit suicide? In quotations. Like Jeffrey Epstein. Or if she'll snitch and live to tell the tale. LOL. Okay, well, she snitched to live to tell the tale. I like that. Take that from me. I don't know. I gotta write that into something. Will she snitch to live to tell the tale? Find out on the next episode of Spiritual Hour. We'll find out. Let's see. Will she commit suicide in quotations? Or will she live to snitch and tell the tale of what went down and why she done snitched and where Epstein at and yada yada yada? We never know. This is interesting. It's like a telenovela. As the world turns, we don't know, but we do know that there's some interesting celebrities on that Clay and Private Island list. Folks like Naomi Campbell, Will Smith, Chris Tucker. There are a lot of interesting people who are on that plane, that private jet. But we gonna find out what Ghislaine, her name is so interesting. Ghislaine Maxwell. Woo, there's like a lot of cards looking over. Sheesh. Okay. Okay. So we have the Eight of Wands. So a speedy resolution. Okay. The reason why I was looking at the cards extra long is because, like I said, a lot of them flipped over. So I was trying to see what the cards that flipped over, what it has to do with this question being resolved. And I didn't want to pull out 10 cards, basically. So what I've gathered from the cards, so we're working with the Eight of Wands, speedy situation. We're working with Daughter of Cups. And we're also working with the World card. This was the last card that was flipped over in the deck. So what I'm getting from this is that Maxwell essentially feels as if things are going to work out and they're going to work out in her favor. She's super confident right now. Like, we've been hearing in the news that she won't break, she won't snitch. She had years to think about what will happen if the inevitable ever happened. And then when Jeffrey Epstein allegedly committed suicide, she was then able to, again, reanalyze and reshift and call her accomplices and so on and so forth to assist her with not only preserving her freedom, but having a leeway to stay out of the limelight. So she is very calculating. That's what I'm getting from the cards and from what Spirit's laying on my chest and on my head, is that she's very calculating. She has receipts, she has proof. She's very stealthy in the way that she maneuvers. She's not necessarily backstabbing, but she's definitely dot her I's, crossed her T's, make sure that everything is everything. Not in a sense of perfectionist, but on a sense of covering my footwork, covering my trail. She's that type of person. So she's been able to create a basically get out of jail free card. And that's what she's trying to play. That's what I'm getting from the cards. We also have the Daughter of Cups. That's saying that you would think I would say that she's very emotional, she's very creative. I do see that she's creative, but in a manipulative sense, where she knows the right words, the right people, the right hand to play. She's more of that person and a creative where she can convey certain messages. She can get things done or seen from her point of view. I see that she's artistic in the way of manipulation. And in regards to if she will snitch to tell the tale or she will commit suicide, I do see a body of water in the Daughter of Cups, and she's floating. So I don't think it's going to be the suicide, and I don't think it's going to be on some, she was so overwhelmed with the emotions, she decided to X, Y, and Z. I don't see that. Y'all might be thinking I'm crazy, and we shall see, but I think she's either going to get off or on some technicality or some like eureka evidence or some sympathy and payola, or she's going to get something like very minimum, like 2 years of probation or something of the sort of like, you're going to like a Fed prison, but it's like the same type of prison what's her face went to? Martha Stewart. It'll be that type of facility. Like, yeah, it's Fed, but it's like cushiony. It's like a cupcake. It's like a little vacation where the CEOs who bankrupt us, the common folks, and trick it off on their European escorts. Like, that's what I see. I don't see her doing anything that's gonna be backbreaking, anything that she has to sit in solitude for. She ain't scared, no one's gonna pull up the razor on her. Like, she ain't afraid to drop no goddamn soap. Like, she has it good. I feel like the way she has orchestrated, she has a foul-proof plan as well as those she has in her back pocket because she knows where all the bones are buried. She'll be alright. I don't think she's going to tell the tale. I think she will either fade from the limelight or she will still be around, but you won't hear much from her. But I don't see her committing suicide, and I don't even see her doing anything like strenuous. I really feel like with the World card, I feel like she's going to get off very easy or she's not going to go to jail, prison at all. But we gonna see. 5W. Raising Black foster children. Hello, Black Woman Vibes. Watching the news on COVID, there's a lot of Black people dying from COVID than white or any other race. I'm in the process of adopting my foster children, but now I'm questioning who will step up and adopt or foster these children whose parents died from the battle with Corona. My question to the divine is, how can I get more Black people to consider fostering a Black child? So, I never foster children. I've never been in the foster care system, but I've known children who were foster kids or who were adopted or some other type of arrangement. I think fostering is very honorable, very respectable. It's very selfless. You definitely don't have to, and the fact that you do and you do it so well, it is exceptional work. I think fostering is a personal decision. It's something that you have to really sit and think on, especially if you are married and you already have children of your own. So it's not for everyone. There are people who don't even want biological children. And you could not want biological children and want adoptive children, but most people who don't have kids just don't want kids. So they're not going to foster. So everybody's situation is different, but also you have to think about, do you have the energy? Do you have the availability to, then I know it kind of sounds weird, like availability to be a parent, but it's like, do you have the availability? If you're hectic, if you're always taking a plane, you're always in a business meeting, you don't have the availability to be someone's parent. Like, you're focused on your career, which is great, but that has nothing to do with the kid that needs to be picked up from soccer class and the kid that needs to be at the parent-teacher meeting and the same kid that needs to be at recital. Like, eventually you're going to have to show up more than once. So you have to have the availability, you have to have the emotional maturity, but you also have to have the funds and the resources and the space in the home to foster children. Some people may not be ready in their lives. Some people may not have the money to do so. And we're talking about Black people who oftentimes are impoverished when it's just themselves or their immediate family. So to take on another mouth and care and provide for that mouth, it's a lot. But we shall see what the cards have in store. Cards, can you answer to 5Y? How can she get more Black people involved in fostering children? And yes, fostering children and adopting children are two different things. You can have a foster child for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, a couple of months, even a couple of years, and then the child may be adopted or something, another situation happens and the child's not in the home anymore. But it's definitely not for the faint of heart. You definitely have to be 10 toes deep to foster. But it's not for everyone. But we shall see. But I do also understand the mentality of, like, you know, especially in the hotep sectors, they love talking about, you know, we need to take care of our own, this, that, and the third, and all that hotep woke goodness, but they don't really invest in children. So if the hoteps want to stop complaining about who's adopting these Black children in the foster care system, they better hop off the block talking that woo-woo and get into those agencies and adopt or foster these Black kids. Make sure they have the best opportunity in life. The cards wasn't coming out, so I just decided to shuffle and just pull out cards. So we have the Death card. We also have the Father of Swords, both, well, this in reverse. And we also have the High Priestess in reverse. I don't think it's a good idea right now. I think if you know Black people who are available and they're wanting children, or they're retired and they have empty nest syndrome and they would like to volunteer with children, I think you should encourage those who already are invested. But what I'm getting from the cards is that there's no physical or emotional energy or care in this direction. And I know that sounds super harsh. We have the Death card, which is could be a death or it could be a beginning, because they're both in the same. So what I'm seeing with this is that there's no energy, there's no depletion, like there's nothing that's going to grow from the situation. As you can see, this is like an empty canvas. Carcass. And then you have the Father of Swords, and this is in reverse. So it's speaking of like being in a rut, not being able to open your mind and expand. It's also being one-sided, being short-sighted, and being full of ego. And then with the, and not just full of ego, but also like focusing on yourself, like your basic needs, like your safety, your food, your sense of belonging, your self-esteem. Like it's really on a primitive level of making sure that I'm straight and not having the ability to see past and beyond that. And then you have the High Priestess in reverse, and that is speaking like the lack of spirituality. I know when you're talking about adoption and you're like, how does that have to do with anything about spiritual? You have to be spiritually invested in this kid. You have to love this kid. You have to want the best for this kid. You have to be invested in the outcome. And whatever this kid has, whether it's trauma, whether it's neglect, whether it's abuse, you need to be 10 toes in it to ride it out with the kid. And I just don't see it within the Black collective, at least not right now. I see that there a lot of it is spiritually dead, spiritually stagnant. I see a lot that aren't even connected to their spirituality. When you're listening to things like push me to the edge, all my friends are dead, like where is the spirituality in that? Where is the divinity in that? Where is the connecting to the divine, the infinite spirit in that? There isn't. It's just a lot of zombie dead energy, and that's what I'm getting from the cards. Six I, racism. Hey sis, I'm a 23-year-old college student. Is it just me, or does it feel like the more we become progressive, the more racist things happen? From George Floyd to racist TikTokers and even that One Nation K-pop group. I saw your video about it and I was floored. I feel like we are stuck in a time like some kind of loop. BlackWomanVibes, ask the cards, when will racism die? Okay. Racism is not a thing. It exists, but it's a concept, it's a belief, it's not an actual flesh person, so it can't die. I guess you're saying, when will the notion or the idea, the philosophy, the investment in racism no longer be a thing? And I'm gonna shuffle cards. You see me shuffling. I just don't see that dying anytime soon, especially since a lot of people are invested in it and it's profitable and there's no real consequences. Like if, for example, I say the word that starts with T and rhymes with granny, oh, I'll be canceled. Like my whole life is over. But you say the N word, like the most you'll get is dragged, maybe harassed, maybe trolled, maybe doxxed, maybe even lose your job. But you'll be hired. You'll be okay. Your neighbors will still wave to you in the morning. Like it's not gonna affect you in the way of if you insulted the LGBT community. So there's no respect on Black people's name, specifically the Black man, and the Black man has not created a system that is functional and successful for and comfortable for Black women to exist in peace, harmony, happiness, and rest in her femininity. So because this is the reality that we live in, I don't see racism going away anytime soon. And then especially when you have, Black men out here who are invested in colorism. How can you want the death of white supremacy but love its byproduct? Colorism is a byproduct of white supremacy. So if white supremacy is a thing, and y'all say white supremacy is a thing, then why would you take down the system that produces your colorist face? your colorist gaze, your colorist preference. You're not going to have that if you don't have white supremacy. So do you think black men are that invested in taking down the system of white supremacy, especially if they can interracial date and mate? And we're seeing that they're offsprings of black men and non-black mothers is at a rate of 92% out of wedlock rate. So apparently they're not getting a better deal than 77% of black women. But that's really not my issue. But let's see what the cards have in store for your answer. 6I. How can or will racism ever die? So we have the Daughter of Swords in reverse right now. We also have the Judgment card upright. One more card. Oh, right then and there. We have the Ten of Swords in reverse. Honestly, what I'm getting from this is that there's a lot of work to be done to take down any philosophy, belief, common practice, or whatever. It takes time, it takes repercussions, it takes authority of the highest level. This would be federal, to make a thing, or to abolish a thing, right? What I'm seeing from the cards is that there's not enough energy in regards to black empowerment and authentic black empowerment. Not just like buy my t-shirt with Malcolm X's faces. Not just, oh, shop at my business even though it's subpar. I'm talking about like in every aspect of society, you can go to in regards to whatever you need in society, whatever you're desiring, whatever you're looking for, you can go to any establishment, and 9 out of 10 times it will be a white establishment, and they will have what you need. There is not an equivalent of that in black spaces. You might have predominantly black towns, cities, and so on and so forth, but usually they're not. They are impoverished, and usually they don't have the same quality as white establishments, or it is in small quantities. They're kind of like a mom and pop versus white America has Walmart. So what I'm saying with the Daughter of Swords is like there's a major miscalculation in regards to your question, as well as it's too late. There will not be a Walmart that opens up anytime soon with the success of the Walmart that it already is, and there is no one that can compete. At this point, it would just be Amazon versus Walmart, two major corporations led and founded by white men that give, at least with the United States, but I'm pretty sure the world, the majority of its needs. Like you can buy from any country from Amazon and it will be shipped to you. Same thing with Walmart. Well, not necessarily Walmart. I'm not really sure with Walmart, but Amazon indefinitely. And then you have the Judgment card, which is basically not necessarily what the divine is going to answer, but what the energy you put into, what is the results, what is the final conclusion. Yes, it's somewhat the divine, and yes, it's somewhat cosmic, karmic energy, but it's also the work that you put in, the intent that you put in, the timing that you selected, and so on and so forth. So it's like all of that showing and resulting in the manner that is. With the Judgment card, it's upright, so usually that means a yes. But then we have the Ten of Swords in reverse, which would speak to a rebirth. And what I'm saying is not that there's a yes that it will be a system of no more racism. I see that there's just going to be another version of racism, whether it's classism, whether it is whatever. It won't necessarily be an end of oppression or end of racism. It'll just be another buffer where it's like, if you don't come from this zip code, then sorry. If you don't come from this Ivy League alumni, sorry. If you don't have the same life experience or quality of life that I have, sorry. So it's just gonna be another way of creating more obstacles. But the obstacle of racism, I don't see it dying anytime soon. If anything, it'll just be rebranded. Sorry. 7-0, cousin Mammys. I have 2 cousins who I love dearly, but they are Mammys. They have hearts of gold and are simple in nature, but they are effing Mammys. Their lives consist of church, black men, and reality TV. What's sad is that they are gorgeous and should be using their beauty to get well-to-do men. I want to introduce them into divestment. What's stopping me is that I don't know if they'll be receptive to this information. I want as much black women who have a chance to leave Blackistan to be saved. My question to the Divine Mother is if I should introduce my Mammy cousins into divesting and swirling. So that's interesting. My short and sweet to the point answer is divestment is a next step logical solution. If any black woman does not want to divest, that is her choice and I'll respect her choice, but that's not a decision I'm feeling to make with her, and that's not a decision that I'm feeling to ride with her either. I don't feel that divestment needs to be sold. It shouldn't have to involve pulling teeth or making these long experimental case study, dissertation, peer review, thesis, and so on and so forth. It should just be logical. And since for some black women, for whatever reason, it's just too complicated, it's just too nuanced to understand, then let them be. But I'm not going to introduce you to anything that you're not ready for, and then you F it up for me. You fuck it up for me. For example, you come into these divestment spaces and they say something about your sons, and next thing you know, oh, you're not for black people, you're not really for black women, what about this, that, and the third? You're not ready. So if you think that they're ready, then when you say things about divestment like dating out and wanting a better quality of life and not that struggle, trauma bonding shit that is Blackistan, if they look at you like, what? No, black community, building black excellence, Black Wall Street, then you know they're not ready. If you say that and they're like, really? Tell me more. Then you know they're not necessarily ready, but they're open enough to have discussions. Therefore, they might be ready within due time. But let's see. Can we get a resolution for 7? Oh, what is the conclusion? Should she introduce her cousins into divestment? Cousin Mammys, cousin Skeeter, cousin Mammys, and should that be her intention? Ooh. You have the 5 of Swords. Ooh. 2 more cards, Spirit. 2 more cards. Is this the right solution? Ooh. We have the 3 of Swords. Interesting. And we also have the 5 of Wands in reverse. So what I'm seeing from these cards is that they're not ready. Like, plain and simple, they're not ready. I feel like if you end up presenting forcing them into divestment or sharing certain beliefs that you have, it's just going to be like the backdoor mammyism video that I made. It's just going to be a ring around the circle of fuckery and backpedaling and pussy popping and U-turning and usurping. All she's going to, or they going to do is say, what about the black community? What about the black man? What about black love? Not all. Beyonce forgave Jay-Z. It's just going to be a long ring around the circle of fuckery. Like, nobody got that type of time. It's going to make you feel like this. It's going to make you feel as if you're being cut in half. Don't even. That's my answer. Don't even. To read the rest of the cards, the Three of Swords, that speaks to jealousy, it speaks to contempt, it speaks to a bad dynamic. I can see this as distrust. I can see this as like, you think you're better than us, that you can't lead the black family, trauma bonding. I can see that, you know, your daddy's black, our uncle is black, whatever is black, Obama was black, Jesus is black. Like, nah. And then you have the Five of Wands in reverse, which tells you everything that you needed to know. They're not ready to rise from the ashes. They're still in the trenches. They're still in the dirt. They're still in the trap. So you gotta let them be in the trap. Hey, don't save them. They don't want to be saved. And that's just what that is from spirit. I'm moving on. 8P conspiracy. Hi, Black Woman Vibes. I just discovered your channel. I haven't seen all of your videos, but I have seen all your past spiritual hour videos. Thank you. We are on week 6. We had 5 weeks of prior spiritual hour videos. So if you want to see different questions, how I gave my commentary, and how Spirit gave the final solution, definitely check them out on the Black Woman Vibes YouTube channel. Had to do a plug within the plug. But spirituality isn't conspiracy, but I want to know if the divine can reveal what's the purpose of the Illuminati causing all this mayhem. Christ didn't die for our sins just for folks to go to do the devil's work. All right, a Christian conspiracy theorist. That's new. I guess Christians always talking about the devil, people doing the devil work. They always sound like tapped as fuck. So maybe not. But Illuminati, definitely. So let's see what the cards have in store for you. Cards, why is the Illuminati the Illuminati? Like, why are they here? What's their job? What they feeling to do? Who sent them? Cards, who sent them? What's the purpose of the Illuminati? We have the High Priestess in reverse. That's interesting. Ooh, we also have the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. And jeez Louise. We have the Nine of Swords. So what I am gathering from these cards is that the Illuminati exists. I can't believe I'm really answering this question. Okay. I believe the Illuminati exists is because y'all might not fuck with me when I say this, but like, I believe it's part of the human experience. I think it gives us depth to what is this thing called the human. Like, what is philosophy? What is morals? What is bravery? What is expansion? What is fear? What is trial and tribulations? I think and it's not something like it's divinely orchestrated. The divine mother wanted the Illuminati to exist. Like, please don't take my commentary out of context. I think what this is saying is that to understand darkness, you need the light. To understand warmth, you need the cold. You need polar opposites to recognize the importance as well as the danger of both sides, but they need something to contrast so you can see the other for what it is. Like, without darkness, you can never see or recognize the importance of the light because it's always light. So you can't fathom of it never existing, as well as you don't know how cool and calm, or to some, and then also very threatening and alarming to others, being in the dark. And if you're always in the dark, then that means you don't have a concept of the light. So you need both to understand its energy. With the darkness, you see the moon. With the light, you see the sun. And that is speaking somewhat in regards to your question, or answering your question, as opposed to in regards to the fact that the Illuminati exists because it gives us depth and character as people. It shows us what we're really made of, what our beliefs are in, what do we participate in, how, to what degree, how much of ourselves that we gotta shed in rebirth, and the trials and tribulations that mark us and form us and shape us into who we need to be, as well as our ability or lack of ability to understand that everything is divine, everything is interconnected, and we do play a role in this thing called the human experience. So I'm saying with the cards is that the Illuminati exists because, not that it's a test of sorts of how to be a human, but it's, I guess, this common era, because the Illuminati didn't exist during, like, the Phoenician era. It's pretty modern, I guess you could say, but it exists to basically hold a mirror to the everyday person's face, and not as accountability, but to show ourselves who we really are when no one is watching, when no one is judging. Like, what do we participate in? What do we feed into? What do we blindly and sheep-like follow? So it's a lot of, yeah, they're evil. Yeah, I forgot. I'm remembering bits and pieces of the song. But anyways, we have 2 children together, and we are planning on getting married once this Roma thing rolls out. My boyfriend, who used to be so lovey-dovey, has been social distancing from me. He goes out at different late night hours and doesn't come back upwards of 3 days. 3. I don't believe him. Wait, he tells me his work schedule is hectic because of COVID. I don't believe him. He recently changed his passcode on his phone. I can't. That's why I'm emailing you. BlackWomanVibes, can you find out if my boyfriend is cheating on me? Oh, child. Am I Maury? Is this a lie detector test? Did you, Tyrone, cheat on Keisha? The lie detector will prove your innocence. If Keisha's just acting up, Tyrone, or if you truly did skeet and delete, we shall find out with the lie detector results, i.e. the cards. This was 9Z now, so I don't forget. So Illuminati is this, that, and the third, but it's also like, but you don't have to participate in capitalism, and you don't have to participate in consumerism, and you don't have to participate in oppression. You don't have to participate in going to war. But these are all things we participate in willingly. So we also got blood on our hands as much as they do. So that's what I'm getting from the divine. 9Z, is my boyfriend cheating on me? Hey, BlackWomanVibes, my boyfriend of 5 years have been acting up. Tell me why I thought about City Girls Act Up. Real ass bitch, give a fuck about a nigga. Real ass bitch, give a fuck about a nigga. Stripes on my ass, so you call this pussy tigger. I forgot. I'm remembering bits and pieces of the song. But anyways, we have 2 children together, and we are planning on getting married once this Roma thing rolls out. My boyfriend, who used to be so lovey-dovey, has been social distancing from me. He goes out at different late night hours and doesn't come back upwards of 3 days. 3. I don't believe him. Wait, he tells me his work schedule is hectic because of COVID. I don't believe him. He recently changed his passcode on his phone. I can't ask him about it because he didn't know that I knew of his old passcode. That's why I'm emailing you. BlackWomanVibes, can you find out if my boyfriend is cheating on me? Oh, child. Am I Maury? Is this a lie detector test? Did you, Tyrone, cheat on Keisha? Prove your innocence. If Keisha's just acting up, Tyrone, or if you truly did, skeet and delete. We shall find out with the lie detector results, i.e. the cards. Cards. Please reveal to 9C. Is her man cheating on her? Okay. We got 1 card. We have 2 cards actually. We have the Father of Pentacles in reverse. We also have the 3 of Cups in reverse. Ooh. What's going on? Ooh. And we also have the 9 of Swords in reverse. Okay. A lot of reversals. But, I think you think he's cheating on you, but I don't think he's cheating on you versus that he's going through some real personal inner conflicts right now, and he's just not talking about it. He's keeping it to himself. So it feels as if like, oh, he's pulling back, so there must be another person like who he's cheating with. But in actuality, what I'm seeing from the cards is that like his focus isn't where it needs to be, whether it's you, the house. He may be overworking. He may be at the bar. He may be at his homie's house playing Nintendo or whatever they do. But I think it's not cheating, more so it is his emotions. I see that we have the 9 of Swords, and though it's in reverse, I see that it's like bottling it inside him, and it's not repressing. He's not, letting it be shared and known and conversing with you and getting a solution or resolution. I feel like he's internalizing it. With the 3 of Cups in reverse, it's usually a celebration and coming together, a friendship, and so on and so forth. It's in reverse because I don't see that. I feel like he's just keeping to himself. He's isolating from people. He's in his thoughts. He's in his feelings. He's in his bag. And the Father of Pentacles in reverse. So I don't know if there's some financial issues. I don't know if he feels that he has too much of the financial burden on him. But I see that it's not that he's pulling away because he's cheating. I see that he's pulling away because life sucks right now. And you probably should have a conversation with him instead of like sneaking into his passcode. I'll be honest with you. I knew my ex's passcode, and I'm not going to say that I've never put it into his phone, but it was never out of cheating versus his phone was there and I wanted to see if I could so get into it. And he had access to my phone too. He knew my passcode too. So it wasn't no cheating shit. And I also felt like if I have to really go through your phone, see who you talking to and this, that, and the third, you're obviously cheating on me. And I don't want that paranoia. I don't want that weird attachment style that a lot of Black women have with Black men. I don't want to chase or vie for your attention. I don't want to always be on your toes. Who you talking to? Who you cheating with? That sounds disgusting. I'm not interested in that. So if I gotta do that with you, that means I gotta get rid of you. And that's just on God. Period. So yeah, talk to him and not, break into his phone. Invasion of privacy it's not cool. 10F, finding myself. I'm in this phase in my life where I just want to be alone all the time. Not like depression or anything, but self-isolation. During this pandemic, I have spent a lot of time journaling, reading books, and meditating. I guess you can say I've retrieved back to self. My question to the Divine Mother is, how can I share this newfound awakening of taking a societal break so people can stop calling up my line? My question to the Divine is, how can I share this newfound awakening of taking a societal break so people can stop calling up my line? Oh. So basically she's saying, how can she share that, don't call me, I'm tired, I'll call you, don't call me, do not disturb, peace. That's what she's basically saying. She wants to share how great it is to be alone so others can stop calling her phone so they too can be alone without her. I get it. That was kind of cheeky. Okay, let's see. Cards, can you please reveal to 10F? How can she convey the message of being alone, being in her own space, doing her own thing, so people can stop calling her, blowing up her phone, so they can call Tyrone, so they can come help get his ish, because you just want to be alone. That was deep. Let's see. Cards. Ooh. We have the Mother of Wands, okay? Was she feeling to protect, sis? Your peace, I hope. Two more cards. How can she convey the message and leave me alone? I'm in my peace. I'm in my element. I'm in my vibe. Daughter of Pentacles. I'm in my bag. Leave me alone. I got things to do, like take care of me, self-care. Damn, again? Three of Swords. I don't know why I said it like that. It's kind of like, I guess you could say, shocks me or surprises me because I shuffle very well. So when the same card that appears back to back, it's like, wow, okay. Not that the message is bad or the card is bad, more so that you still popped up even though I shuffled the out the deck. Mother of Wands. So again, like I've been saying on Special Hour, when this card comes up, it's a snake protecting its eggs. It's kind of like the mama bear, the mama cub. It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of protective energy. It's a lot of striking when it's hot, striking to protect, striking to preserve. We have the Daughter of Pentacles, more logistical, more, I wouldn't even say isolated, as more like demure and calm, very behind the scenes type of person, caring, loving, giving, supportive. And then you also have the Three of Swords, which talks about deception, anger, jealousy, betrayal, and all those bad vibes. So in regards to your question, is that I feel like this is really protect your peace. And this is why when this card came out, I was like, what is this? Protect your peace? And I said that just because, like, that was my natural reaction. But this is what I really believe the card is saying, or the Divine Mother is saying through the card. Protect your peace. Your peace is the eggs, your baby. What makes you happy? What gives you peace? What gives you solitude? What gives you encouragement or motivation? It's like, protect that at all costs. Even if you gotta strike people, even if you gotta bite on people, if you gotta hiss at people, protect your peace. Daughter of Pentacles, I see that they might be calling because money might be funny. They might be calling because they want some type of stability. You might be an earth sign yourself, or you may have a lot of money, a lot of wisdom, a lot of stability, a lot of solid advice, and they're kind of attached to you. You might be the strong friend, but you also might be the friend that's very reliable, very honest, someone that people like and trust, so that they kind of lean on you too much and they just don't know how to like get up off you. So that could be in regards to the Daughter of Pentacles. And then with the Three of Swords, what I'm seeing is that it could really just be negative attachment style than anything like, oh, betrayal and contempt and jealousy. What I'm seeing is that this could just be negative attachment styles, the way that your heart chakra is invoked in them, or your heart chakra is invoked in you, and how they have interpreted your heart chakra. It might just be overdoing or over active, an overactive heart chakra. So that might be that, you know, false obsession, but it could also in your situation be like, what would, let's say your name is Felicia, F for Felicia. What would Felicia do? How would Felicia do it? I don't know. Call Felicia. Wow. Felicia has the recipe. Ooh, Felicia. It just might be a point where they just can't not operate without you, because they just so heavily depend on you, and that's just the role that you played in the relationship. So what I will say is that you need to unwind these negative attachment styles and be like, I still love you, I still care for you, call me, but call me when it's actually an emergency and then I'm like the last person to call. Don't call me when I'm the first option. Okay, in this scenario, I am not the first option. Also create healthy boundaries. Be firm on your boundaries. These are my off days. Please respect these times where I'm just not available. This is my mental health break. So it has to do with them respecting you and your safe space, but it's also you coming out your mouth and saying how you feel and letting them be known, like, hey, yo, like, this ain't it. Closed mouths don't get fed. They're not mind readers. If you avoid the call or you still pick up, then how they're supposed to know that you don't want to be called if you don't tell them that you don't want to be called? So, yeah. But that is all we have for Spiritual Hour. Those are all the 10 questions, y'all. I feel so sweaty, TMI. It's a hot day. And it's okay because we got through. We got the questions answered. And hopefully those answers may not be the answers that you wanted, but those are the answers that I have to give to you. But if you would like to participate in Spiritual Hour, all you would have to do is email me at BlackWomanVibes@gmail.com, BlackWomanVibes@gmail.com. Again, Spiritual Hour has 10 slots for our Spiritual Hour live question and answer tarot segment. We use the tarot cards, the divine spirit, the divine herself, to guide us, to give us our answers. It's a condensed reading. It's not a full reading. It's not a private reading. Though I do offer that if you would like. All you would have to do is email me at the same email address, BlackWomanVibes@gmail.com, BlackWomanVibes@gmail.com, and coordinate. You can also DM me on Facebook, Black Woman Vibes, Instagram, Black Woman Vibes, Twitter, Black Woman Vibes, and this YouTube channel, Black Woman Vibes. You can definitely hit me up in the DMs to schedule and coordinate a full reading as well. Each reading comes with a full life path reading that is free within the reading, and the life path number tells you who you are, the things that you're going to go through, your obstacles, and the things that you will need to work out to live the best quality life that you possibly can. So definitely book a reading because you get a free life path reading, and you can ask as many questions as you want. It's private. It's between client, which is you, and professional, which is me. It will never be recorded. It will never make it to Spiritual Hour. It's just a private consultation. So definitely reach out if you would like that too. And I also blog on viisme.com, www.viesme.com. On viesme.com, we have blogs for days. We have blogs in regards to Black women and Black women empowerment. We talk about mental health. We talk about sexual trauma. We talk about healing. We talk about Black history. We talk about spiritual guides. We talk about a lot of things, and you can definitely check it out, as well as my podcast is over there. I have a podcast, the same title as this YouTube channel, BlackWomanVibes. It is available on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, and wherever else you listen to your favorite podcast or content material. It is there, so check it out. It's $3.99 as well, and it caters to Black women. You will never have to be triggered by misogyny, sexism, colorism, and all things that play Black women, because it's content for Black women made by a Black woman herself. And we talk about a range of topics, whether it's mental illness, physical health. We talk about archetypes. We talk about imposter syndrome, empath, and a whole host of other topics on season 1, 25 episodes worth. And on season 2, which was also 25 episodes worth, we talked about the media and our interactions with Black men and how we intervene, whether it is the podcast episode of 2020, which was 2020, what it means for you and your future goals, and Fat Phobia featuring Lizzo, My Body, My Choice featuring Deja Harris, T.I.'s daughter, and his respectability, wonky virginity checks policies, and we talked about why T.I. even thought that that was acceptable, and why T.I. is really just dodging the karma that he has that unfortunately will be inherited by Deja and his other daughters, because usually a father's sins are inherited by the daughter via the trauma that she experiences with other men, because her father was out here devouring other men's daughter in his prime. So we talked about that. We talked about cautionary tales with B. Smith. We talked about not getting involved in toxic relationships, your friends' toxic relationships. We talked about stripper rap and the transformation of rap to include criminality, sex work, as well as even contributing to the underbelly of sex trafficking. So we talked about a whole host of topics. Definitely check it out on either the podcast page on viasme.com or on any other platform that you like streaming your favorite content from. With all that being said, isn't it time for Black women to live and live well? Be the best version of yourself by mastering yourself. And a part of mastering yourself is understanding, is getting in touch with the divine. I know I might sound like a broken record because I say it more than once, but you have to have a spiritual base. I'm not going to say join my church home and join my philosophy, my beliefs. Look, my beliefs are totally unconventional. They're totally non-traditional. It's more spiritual than it is biblical or any other dogma. But I live by the same principles as everybody else, do to those as you would want to yourself, be respectful, mind your business, be polite. Like, I still have the same basic respect and basic manners, hospitality, not even hospitality, but like functional manners. However, my beliefs in higher power and the purpose of life and this and that varies from what people typically believe in. But at the end of the day, my relationship with the divine, nobody can tell me nothing about it. Nobody can interfere. No one can speak for the divine. My relationship with the divine is very close, is very intact. And I do meditate. I do sit still. I do analyze. I do watch. I do ask myself those very important and very honest, sometimes too honest conversations. And I have them with myself, with the divine guiding the conversation and guiding the thought. So it's a lot about doing that shadow side work, and it does not end. Whether you get into hypergamous, level up, interracial spaces or not, your work on yourself will never end. It will end when you end. And you should not be afraid of that. You should take that as a lifelong challenge and step up to the plate. And you could start with getting in touch with the divine. So with all that being said, y'all, be blessed, be enlightened, be loved, and out.